All right, today you guys are gonna be working on these drawings here, multi-view drawings, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, and 4-4. You won't finish them, but you get started on them today. You can find those under orthographic projection multi-view drawings here. Okay, you'll notice, unless it tells you metric units, that these units are all in inches. Okay, so come over into inventor and then go to new, make sure you're under English and do standard inch IPT, and load that up. I just want to go over a few things with you, uh, or for 4-1 for right now. The placement of this circle. Remember, this says a radius of 1.25, so that means from the center out. That is not the diameter. Diameter would be double that. Okay. So let's say, for example, let's go ahead and do a new sketch. If you get, again, at this point in time, if you guys don't want to turn these on and you know what you're doing, you don't have to. It's entirely up to you, but you could right mouse click over here and go to new sketch. However you want to do it. You can turn them on, do whatever. Okay. Now we're just gonna start by drawing this. Again, you could, draw it to about the size of it if you know what the size of it is, but you really don't. So as far as the length of that line, okay. So we're just going to draw this out. Make sure. Now notice how I'm bringing this up to where it's even with that. You see the dotted line there, and then make sure it's perpendicular, and then come over here, and then I'm going to draw a circle because we're going to learn a little bit about trimming and stuff. We kind of went over it a little bit. I kind of showed you guys a little bit. Now notice that's snapping to the middle of that line down there, that midpoint. So don't let it snap to anything. And let's just draw a circle on here. Okay. And then we're going to start dimensioning this. Okay. So put those in there. And I'm just going to put a few dimensions in here. And for now. Now, the center of this hole is 2 inches from here to there. So it's 2 inches. So 2. And what it does not tell you, and this is what I want you to know, the center of this is even with these two lines here. Okay. Now remember, we dimensions down here, it says 7. Because of the way we drew this, we're probably going to need this dimension here. Should be the same. But we're going to put this dimension from the center there to this line here, and that's got to be 0. That's what they don't tell you on that. That's got to be 0. Okay. Now, what I would do at this point in time is, still says it needs 5 dimensions. We obviously need the diameter of this, which is double, so 2.5. Okay, and then what we can do is, now we can go ahead and trim. This is a command I wanted to show you. Use this trim command. It trims up lines, so as you come close to it, it'll find the intersection. Okay, and then you can trim these up. Okay, now once we've got that trim, now notice it says 2 dimensions needed. Now you can go ahead and extrude that to whatever the distance it needs to be and finish that up. Okay, so that's what you need to know for this one, especially that 0 dimension, because it doesn't tell you, but it's that center line is even with these 2 lines right here. Okay. Next one you're going to do is this 4-2, because I want to go over a little bit on this one, because you're going to end up having these cut at angles and stuff. So we'll start out with drawing this front view here. So we'll start with that. So we'll just do a new sketch. I'm going to just go ahead and just edit this one. I don't feel like going to a new file. I'll just delete all this. So on that front view, what we're going to do is we're going to basically draw this shape right here. Okay. This angle, and I'll bring it down to there. All right. Now, as you look at this, it's telling you from here to here, the overall height of this is 2.5. So go ahead and put that in there. It's telling you from this point right here, because this is one dimension that's, how do you do that? If you click this line here, it should give you, that vertical dimension. If it doesn't, then what you have to try to do, because sometimes it'll dimension that length right there at that line, but you could also do it this way. Click this point, that intersection, and this line, and it'll give it to you too. And again, that should be 2. You're gonna have to do the same thing over here on this side too. So do that 2 dimension. And again, you're looking at how many dimensions are needed. So you need this overall length. So it's 5, and you still need, it says 1 inch from this edge here to that point there, that corner. Okay, and that's that 1 inch. All right, and you're gonna need that length right here, which is 3. And then you should see 2 dimensions needed, and that's it. So then you extrude that at whatever the distance is. In this case, 1.5. Now we need to cut this angle out here. So when you do this one, you're going to choose this as your new sketch. Okay. You wouldn't want to choose this. Okay. But you want to choose that because you want it to cut through. And then what we're going to do is then we're going to go ahead and draw this like a little triangle here, come in a certain distance. And if you look at it, as you zoom in on this, it's going to snap to that midpoint. You see that? And it happens to be, if you put everything correctly, as far as the distance extruded, that is the distance in that needs to be cut off at. Okay, so we'll come back down here to here. Okay, and then we've got our triangle. Now it should say, once you get out of this, fully constrained. Because the reason being is because we went to that midpoint, it constrained it. And because obviously we went to these endpoints too, it constrained it. Now, what we'll do, finish the sketch and notice how it's on there. So extrude this, except we're going to do the cut, okay, right up here. And this is something we haven't really done yet. So we're going to do distance. We're going to do 2 next, okay. We could put a distance, just to make you go all the way, but if we do 2 next, it'll go to the next surface. So we go to OK there, and we'll go to this right side view, and you see how it's angled. So now we're going to go to this again, and we're going to do the other one. All right. Then you'll do that triangle there and cut that out too. I just finished this. Won't do that. So that's how you're going to do that. Just showing you a few new things here. All right. And that's it for that one. And the next one we're going to do is this right here. Now, there's a couple ways you could do this as far as how I would start out by drawing on the top view this right here. Okay. That angle. So I'm going to just do a new sketch here, new standard inch part. And again, I'm going to do this on the top. So I'm going to use this one. And we're going to just draw that shape right there. And go ahead and put the dimensions on there. And once you get those, now I want to show you how to do this angle dimension. So while you're on the dimension tool, all you have to do is you click this line, the angled line first, okay? and then it's going to give you this dimension. But if you come up here, notice the indicator will change to an angle. So we go there, and then we've got this ability to move this around. And this angle right here is the one we want if you look at that drawing. And that's got to be a 45-degree angle. Okay. So now once you have that, then you'll notice down here it says 2 dimensions needed. So it's fully constrained as far as we want. We go to finish. And then we're going to go ahead and extrude this. And so we got that. Now we just need to create these cutouts here to make it look like an eye. And don't use this as your sketch. Use this backside over here. You want to draw it on there. Do your rectangles. You know, I'm just going to draw these just real quick. And again, you're going to cut these out. I'm not going to put dimensions on here. Okay. Finish sketch. Then you're going to do the cut. And you want to choose both of these. And make sure you're on cut. Do 2 next. And it'll cut those out. And you finish it. Of course, you'll put the dimensions on there and everything, but I did not. Just wanted to show you that. So there's that one. And the last one here is 4-4. I want to show you how to do these arcs here and make them tangent. I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do that. So I'll just go to new, standard inch. And excuse me, I'm going to do this in the front view, the XY plane, new sketch. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create, just to start out with, I'm going to show you a couple ways to do this. We're going to first start out by drawing 2 circles. All right. We're going to make sure that they're even with one another. So you notice how you get that dotted line. I'm going to also show you how not to do that. Actually, let's start out with that. Just draw another circle over here. Okay. And we're going to draw 2 lines, one here and one up here. And notice, see that little indicator there? It shows its tangent. Okay. See that? And we're going to put one here and one over here. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure these lines are all tangent to each one of these circles. Okay. So what we're going to do, the first thing we want to do is we want to put a dimension. So the center of these these circles, and we want to go to the center of them right here. We want to get that vertical dimension. That's 0. Okay. So that way they're even with one another. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to dimension these radiuses, and these are going to show diameter because we drew a circle. So if the radius is 1.25, then the diameter is double that, so 2.5. And you'll notice it's a little big. We'll do this one too, 2.5. All right. Then what we need is we need the center dimension from the center of this hole to the center of this hole, and that is 1.5. Okay. All right. And once we get that, then we're going to go ahead and trim this. And come up to trim, and we're just going to go around and keep trimming this. Okay. Now, if we dimension this, let's go ahead. Once we've done this, I'm going to just go ahead and, we'll leave that at that. That's good enough. Okay. Now, it says 3 dimensions needed. Why is that? Well, we press escape and we start going to these points where these intersect. When we start moving them, we're going to find that some of these are going to change because they're not tangent. Now, right now, they're not. So what we want to do is we want to go to tangent. But before we do that, right mouse click in an empty area. Go to show all constraints, or F8 if you get used to it. See, there's a tangent, but we don't have tangents here between this line and this arc, and we don't have a tangent between these two. So we go up here to tangent, and we need to put those in. Okay, and that one's all right because it's got this horizontal constraint, so we don't need that one per se. Now you'll notice it says 2 dimensions needed because we put that constraint on there. Then you can go ahead and finish that. And then go ahead and extrude that. I want to show you how to do holes here real quick. And that distance is 1.5. Now the hole command, you want to come up here. We're not going to draw circles. We're going to do the hole command. So this one's a little bit different. Okay, so what we do is we're going to put this in a certain way. Because these holes are concentric to this arc, what we're going to do is we're going to do concentric here. Okay, the hole, and there's different, we'll get into these other ones later, but right now we're just going to do a drilled hole. Okay, we're going to use, it's going to go through all, so we want to go all the way through, because if it doesn't tell you a depth, then it's assumed it goes all the way through. And then we want to put this size at 0.875. Okay, so the first thing it's going to ask you, it says select down here, select planar face or work plane to place this. So we just choose this. Okay. And then the next thing is select circular edge or cylindrical face. So we want to select this face here, and it's going to make it concentric to it so they have the same center point. See how it moved it? And then you go to apply, and then you're going to do the same thing over here. Choose this surface here, and then choose this arc right here, and it'll make it concentric. You go apply, cancel, and that's done. Okay, so that should give you enough to do today to finish this up. We're going to end up putting these into draft. When we go to new, we want to use the IED title block. We'll do the same A size title block, and we're going to end up putting the drawings in there. But right now, what I want you to do is just do all the part files, and then once you get that done, then you can start putting 4-1 in and doing that. Okay.